Hello, all benders and non-benders, and welcome back to Avatar Generations. Today, we've got ourselves a brand new event going on. This one focused on Airbender characters. Now, if you've been playing the game for about a month or so, this might feel very familiar. We had a event focused on waterbenders a while back. This one is very much in the same vein as that, only this one is focused on airbenders. We do have some login bonuses here, small number of nature stones, some tickets, and then a support at the very end. Never a bad thing. So if we take a look at what we have going on here, first of all, if you haven't already checked your mail, we do have this little present from Gyatso here. We do have this little cake here, which is always good for upgrading your supports, and 5 summon tickets, which is never a bad thing at all. One thing to point out before we do get into the event here is that we also do have the Cabbage Merchant little interface here. What this basically is a ad watch thing where you watch an ad and it fills up this little bar. If you do a total of 5 ads, you get 100 nature stones and 40 energy. You get that in increments of 25, 20 energy, then 25 stones, 20 energy, and then 50 stones. So honestly, 100 free nature stones a day? Not bad. Not bad at all, honestly. Very helpful for upcoming summon events, which we always like. Now, if we're getting into the event here, there's 2 main things here. There's the actual event quest and the shop that goes along with that, and then the summon banner that's going on. If we take a look at events here, for completing, there's no special currency for this or anything. We'll get into what the shop uses in a second here. But for just completing these event challenges, you do get 25 nature stones a pop. 10 challenges of that is 250 nature stones. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you're going through these. Some of these are very easy, completing resource nodes, completing time nodes. You'll just do that as you go. Earning gold, again, you do that as you go. You actually do get some Avatar State Aang boss fight materials, which is never a bad thing. And then we do have quests that actually involve doing the Avatar State Aang boss fight. These don't base on attempts. These are based on the Aang boss coins. So if, say, you're doing the stage 5 and you get 5 coins, then that is a lot of progress to these. But if you're a newer player and you need to stick with the stage 1, stage 2, maybe stage 3 if you're feeling gutsy, that applies as well. If we go down here, we do have completing elemental quests for the air materials to get just some skip tickets here. And then down here, it wants you to complete those with your airbender heroes. In that case, this would be Aang, this would be Gyatso if you're lucky enough to have him, and also the airbender youngster you can get with duplicates if you do happen to have enough of those coins. So you'll definitely want to have them on the team. Make sure to do them one at a time. In the past, we've had issues with skip tickets where it tries to you do multiple skip tickets, but it only counts as like 1 or 2. So not a bad idea to do it one at a time just to make sure. But yeah, you do actually get some cool materials here. We do have some quests here based on actually summoning using your tickets. So you do get refunded a little bit. You get 1 here, and then 3 here if you spend 20 of them. This is not necessary to get all the nature stones here. We do have enough quests to get the maximum number of nature stones without worrying about actually summoning. So if you didn't want to summon on the banner, you don't have to worry about this. This only refunds a partial number of tickets, basically. You don't have to worry about this. We do have just higher gold amounts if you're doing the pirate missions. Not really a big deal. And then just some more quests requiring the boss coins to get some more airbender materials. Never a bad thing. Now, if we go into the shop here, we can get a few items. It's pretty simple, honestly, nothing too crazy. If you spend some of your Air element ascension materials. You can get some arena tickets, which are always good. Get your rank up, try to get some more rewards at the end of the week. You can actually get some energy, which is kind of nice. You can get a total of 90 energy from here, and then a total of 180 energy from here. And then you get some tickets and some skip tickets. Never a bad thing. Just nothing crazy, but just kind of some nice little things to help you play the game easier. And then over here, these are ascension materials for the Airbender characters. I know Spirit is for Peace Aang, if you were lucky enough to get a copy of him. And then I imagine that these apply to the other Aangs or Monk Gyatso. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of these you might need, some of these you might not need. For me, I have no reason to get the Avatar Talisman, because I already have Peace Aang powered up. I don't know if any other Aang uses them, but you can check that in just the heroes page just to make sure. But I suspect that this one's only for Peace Aang. Not sure about that though. Wouldn't swear to it. And then just the last chunk of the event here, we do have the Four Nations Air banner here. Now, what do we have here? We have three main things, sharing about, I believe it's 2.5%. Yeah, that's correct. We have Avatar State Aang. Basically what he does, all of his attacks are AoE. His basic here has a chance of inflicting any elemental effect on the enemy if there's none already on there. So instead of being a character that applies, like, guaranteed air or guaranteed fire, he could inflict one of any. But only if there's nothing already on there. And then when he attacks, he does have a 25% chance to increase the duration of effects that are already on the enemy. Taking a look at his advanced here, he actually deals spirit damage to the enemy, which increases their cooldown, basically keeps them from being able to use their advanced abilities, has a 25% chance to increase that cooldown, and then actually does deal some additional damage if there are elemental effects on him. So that's kind of good to keep in mind here. And then we do have Bridge to the Spirit World. He actually gains affinity advantage against all opponents. That basically means that he will always have the advantage, no matter if there's a type that would normally be effective against offense. He doesn't care. He's always going to have that advantage. And then reduces damage taken by 5% for each opponent alive at the start of your turn. So that's kind of a neat little effect he has here. Looking into the second character, Gyatso, just to give a brief overview of him. He has Guiding Wind. This will always land a crushing hit, which basically means it will do more damage. And then can actually remove defensive buffs and heal himself depending on how many buffs he removed, which is kind of cool. And then this is really his bread and butter, Delicious Prank. This one deals disruptive damage to 4 random enemies. It's a weird way to say that it's basically an AoE, but I guess technically speaking, it could hit one enemy 4 times. And then increases the turn bar of all allies by 15%, so a massive support buff there. And then, as it is disruptive damage, it will either knock down the enemy, increase cooldown by 1%, and decrease their turn bar by 30%, or reduce their focus by 20%. And that's a guaranteed chance of one of those to happen. A pretty massive effect there. You will notice that it does have a cooldown of 5. I know if you do get him, I think it is Skill Mastery level 4. When you use it, it will actually go down to 3. So that does help if you have invested in your Monk Gyatso. And then, looking at his passive here, he gains evasion when he gets hit with a critical hit, and increases the turn bar of himself when attacked with a weak hit. So if he's getting hit by somebody who's not very effective, it might land a weak hit and he might get some turn bar. Always cool. He is probably the character that everybody most wanted to reroll for when starting this game. Monk Gyatso was the premier pick for that. And then we do actually have a new 5-star relic here. This one is actually exclusive to avatars. In this case, that would just be Aang, but maybe in the future we'll get Kyoshi, Roku, Korra, characters like that who can also use it. At base, has a 50% chance to gain Echo for 1 turn when you inflict an elemental effect on an enemy. What Echo basically does is it has a chance to grant you an extra turn. So, kind of good to keep in mind. This one is very much, I think, tailored toward Avatar State Aang, although it would also be fantastic on Peace, on the Peace version of Aang, fully realized Avatar Aang. That's what I'm trying to say here. As he also inflicts a lot of elemental effects very consistently. And of course, if you were to get more than one of these, that chance would go up. Looking at this banner, to give an honest opinion, first of all, Gyatso is fantastic. Gyatso is absolutely fantastic. He is a tanky air nomad, and quite frankly, not a must pull for the Inagi boss fight, but he sure doesn't hurt because Airbenders at the moment are in short supply. We're a long ways off from Legend of Korra, so I'm not expecting to get any more unique Airbender characters for some time. Avatar State Aang. I hate to call him bad because with the proper team, he can do some cool stuff, especially once you get his mastery level of this move increased. He can do some cool things. My one problem with him, and I say this because noob me, specifically summoned for Avatar State Aang, thinking he was the, when I re-rolled my account, he was my target for re-rolls with that guaranteed 5-star ticket. Did eventually get him, and then realized that he probably wasn't the best Aang. The Airbender 4-star Aang is probably going to outclass this guy, and then the Peace version of Aang is also probably a noteworthy improvement, as this version of Aang can be a bit random. Kind of like Book 1 Avatar State Aang, he was kind of out of control. This version is equally difficult to control, but with the proper team, he might still do you pretty good. However, if I were to give my opinion of this banner, I would recommend holding off and saving your resources unless you are really down bad for Monk Gyatso and that Inagi is just kicking the crap out of you. I would hold off on this banner. We did just have the Deserter banner here with Zhang Zhang, who is a very good tanky firebender. And of course, in the future, you especially want to save your nature stones because I suspect we're going to be getting Dragon Dancer Zuko sooner rather than later, and he would be on a Peace Chaos banner. Very premium, basically needing your nature stones and as many resources as you can possibly get. So I would just keep that in mind. My personal recommendation would be to hold off. The relic, while very good, is very much limited to Aang at the moment, and all the characters of Aang do have some other options that they can absolutely comfortably use. But hey, do whatever you want. Really, at the end of the day, the whole point of the game is to have fun. If you wanted to give Avatar State Aang or Gyatso a try, then go for it. But that is about all we have for today. Hope y'all have enjoyed. Like I said, hopefully we do have one more week to farm up before another Peace Chaos banner. I was very nervous that it was going to be this week, but it looks like we do have one more week with, like I said, Dragon Dancer Zuko probably being the next character to be released. So yeah, definitely look forward to that, and we will, of course, make videos all about that when it comes. So hope y'all have enjoyed this overview of the event, and we shall see you in the next video. Have a good one.